afternoon, YouTube family. This is Take Five with Nanette, and we're here to spend a few moments looking at a nugget of information that has the potential to help all of us change our perspective and learn to think for a change. If you haven't subscribed to Meet with Nanette to our YouTube channel, then and hit the subscribe button, and you will be notified on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday when we put out a new Take Five with Nanette. Today, we are going to talk about questions and go a little bit further into questions, asking questions, and learning to be present with people when you're with them and not be distracted by everything else that's going on in our lives. So today we're going to talk about something called and I'm going to show you my little Horton, here's a who. Anyway, it's called the 5-question rule. And it says, Horton knows being a friend starts with, and I put, the 5-question rule. What is the 5-question rule? The 5-question rule is, we all know how important it is to ask questions if we're going to be interested in somebody else and not just talk about ourselves. Have you ever been with someone who asks you a question, and after they ask you a question, it's like you never even answered their question because they immediately go into talking about something about them that had to do with that question. So weirdly enough, it's like they asked a question just so they could tell you something about themselves. I think we've probably all been there where someone's done that to us, and hopefully we haven't been the one who's been doing it to other people. The 5-question rule is different because you don't just ask people random questions. This is something that the director Elaine Hart used to always work with the cheerleaders on, and what it does is it actually causes you to be present with people and causes them to feel heard and valued. So you start with a question, like for instance, if I asked you, so what area of the country are you from? And you said, I'm from Texas. Then my next question could not be, and so what do you do for a living? My next question has to be connected to the answer that you gave me. So if you told me that you were from Texas, even though I lived in Texas, and I might want to say, oh, wow, well, I lived in Texas too, and and go on about myself. No. I'm going to say, wow, how long did you live in Texas? And you might say, oh, I lived there most of my life for about 20 years. And so then I might, my third question would have to be about the 20 years that you've lived in Texas. So during that 20 years, what came to be your favorite thing about living in Texas? And you might say, well, my favorite thing about living in Texas was the weather. Because even though it did get cool in the winter and you still feel like you have 4 seasons, it doesn't have a lot of snow and ice and all that kind of stuff, and that's something that I really loved about living in Texas during those 20 years. And so as a result of that, then I would come back and say, okay, well, you didn't have all that snow and stuff to deal with now, to deal with. You don't have that to deal with. Let me think about that. So then we'd have to ask a fifth question. And the fifth question would have to do with what they loved about Texas. So, if it ever snowed, tell me about the first time you saw snow in Texas. And then they would tell me something about that. Here's the deal, most people are so busy with their own lives that we don't take the time to really listen to someone else or even care about their answers. So this is just something simple that you can practice, especially with people that you've just met. You're trying to get to know those types of situations. And when you walk away, I can promise you that those people are going to remember having a conversation with you, because they're going to feel heard and valued. So take some time to practice that before our next Take 5 with Nanette. And leave some comments in the comment section and let me know how that went for you. I'd love to hear. Have a great day.